Good morning, everybody, and a happy Thursday morning to you. I hope you guys had a fabulous Christmas. Opened lots of presents. Now, really quickly, we're trying the one video format again, so you're going to have the royal family before we get to the Harry Meghan stuff. For the person who asked why my voice was so soft in the last few videos, it's because I've been on vacation and I've been getting up super early to tape while my family's been asleep. That's why. And as you're listening to this video on Thursday, I am driving home. I cannot guarantee there will be a video Friday because I'm going to be in the car most of the time Thursday, but I'll do my best. And the reason Omid is our profile picture is because he and Harry and Meghan, there's a story there again. So let's just jump in and cover it all, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off with the Duke and Duchess of Westminster. You guys remember them. They had that fabulous wedding in June. William was an usher and Harry wasn't allowed. Anyway, apparently they did visits earlier this week. They spent the morning with two charities that provide sustainable help and support to children and young people, both of which are supported by their foundation through the Partnership Grant Program. The pictures show them visiting a charity in Westminster. It's an educational charity called School Food Matters. They announced on their Instagram a 5-year partnership with School Food Matters and awarded £500,000 towards their Healthy Zones program, which creates a food environment that prioritizes young people's health. So the two of them met students for the Breakfast Club. They participated in an allotment tour where children learned about the origins of food, and they also went to a cooking session. Now, the other school that they visited, they went to their Netball for a Change initiative, which uses netballs to empower girls and young women to stay safe on social media. And this nonprofit uses boxercise, self-defense, and boxing to educate about the risks of carrying a knife. I absolutely love it. They're such a cute couple. Good for them. Moving on. Now, as I didn't put anything up for Christmas and I worked 24 hours behind, by the time you're seeing this, they've already had the family walk at Sandringham. This obviously took place before Christmas, but here's Charles walking to church looking rather spry and pretty good considering they just discussed the fact that cancer treatment is going to continue on into 2025. You know what, though? In general, I think he looks pretty good to me. He doesn't look quite as pale as usual. I'm happy for him. All right, let's move on. Still sticking with King Charles, he sent a letter to the people of Vanuatu giving them their condolences. There was a large earthquake that caused a lot of damage and deaths. I hope they're able to recover. Let's move on. All right, next up, I'm just including this because I think it's pretty cool. Last week, the Royal Collection Trust unveiled some information about a display they're putting on of jewels from the Edwardian period. Pretty cool. Apparently, Buckingham Palace is planning an exhibition that will feature hundreds of pieces from that era, including special pieces from the royals. Here's one of the pieces you'll be seeing, the Dagmar necklace made in 1863, and this was a wedding present to Queen Alexandra from King Frederick VII of Denmark. The next piece you'll be seeing is called the Love Trophy Collar, and this was owned by Queen Alexandra's daughter-in-law, Queen Mary. It was made in 1901, made with diamonds that were in pieces that the family owned. Now, this next piece is really interesting. It is a brooch given to Queen Alexandra from the king, and it was after the king went on a tour of the Middle East. This is a scarab. It's a scarab and beetle. Oh, my God. Then you have some things that are kind of interesting, like this is a pencil case from 1910 made by Cartier. Unbelievable. And then, of course, next up you have a Fabergé cigarette case made from blue enamel, 1908. Now, paintings, of course, are included in all of this. So the first painting shown is Queen Alexandra. This was painted 1908. Next up you have Queen Mary, her daughter-in-law. This was painted 1911. Next up, I hope I say this right, 1908. This is Louise, the Duchess of Connaught. Ooh, that's a mouthful. And after that, you have Princess Andrew of Greece and Denmark, taken in 1907. Pretty cool. All right, you guys, let's move on. Okay, guys, we have to touch on Andrew. everything is going on with him, and they're saying that he's sulking and he's so fed up being picked on and all this stuff is coming out. He's so fed up that he's now not even going to walk the Queen's corgis. Remember, he and Sarah were gifted 2 of the Queen's dogs when she passed, but he said he's so demoralized by what's going on in his life that he won't even walk them, and he's apparently asking the footmen to take the dogs around the grounds of Windsor Castle, along with the other 5 dogs he has with Sarah Ferguson. And this has all started after he was forced to pull out of the lunch at Buckingham Palace and pull out of the walk at Sandringham because he agreed not to embarrass the king any further. So he just said, you know what, I'm not going to do this, but I'm not walking the dogs either. I have to be honest, to me, that sounds disrespectful to his mother. Maybe it's just me, but to me that just shows how childish Andrew is. Why would you take your disappointment out on these poor animals who depend on you? And again, I find that very disrespectful to his mother. He knows how much his mother loved those dogs. You know, if he didn't want to take care of them, he shouldn't have brought them into his house. He should have let somebody else have them. You know what I'm saying? Ay. And as if this entire situation with Andrew wasn't bad enough, an email has now been leaked that shows that Andrew was given preferential treatment and allowed to open an account with the Bank of China in 2008. They made an exception for Andrew. Apparently, he bragged about it. Now, for those of you who are saying what big deal does it make if he opens a bank account there, it's really not that big of a deal, except the account, it was supposedly used to allow Andrew to take payments for business deals outside UK authorities. So now there's a lot of pressure being put on Andrew to finally disclose all of his dealings with China. This email shows that Andrew wanted to open an account more than 15 years ago, so his business interests in China go way back. This is not looking good for him, I gotta tell you. So with all of this going on, it's not to be unexpected that other family members may not want to be painted with the same brush, you know what I'm saying? So apparently Edward and Sophie were very unhappy because they were asked to share a cottage with Andrew at Christmas. They were very less than pleased. Let me also just say that the article goes on to say that Sophie and Edward were also unhappy because they were being put in what was known as servants' quarters. I'm sorry, Sophie and Edward aren't those kinds of people. I don't think they would have complained no matter where they were. Let's move on. Now let's move on to the Harry and Meghan stuff. Apparently they're trying to change the narrative. We all know how angry we were when we saw Meghan Markle mocking the Queen with that ridiculous curtsey that she did in the Netflix docuseries. And remember, if the Queen had not passed when she had, she would have seen that. So just to refresh your memory, let me show you the actual thing. Here we go. And let's not also forget that she likened it to going to one of those gladiator dinners, where you see the jousting, that's how ridiculous and stupid she essentially thought it was. And Harry just sat there. I've told you guys before that Harry and Meghan watch the media, and whenever there's a story, they try to come out and fix it. And Harry now is really trying to rehab his image. So the story now is he did not approve of what Meghan did, and he was very angry, and it made him red in the face. So let's take one more look at that in slow motion, just so you can see Harry. First, he's looking off to the side, then he's looking down at Meghan, and then he smiles. If he was really that upset, why would he be smirking at her like, oh yeah, that's so cute, honey? And the smile continues. It just continues. So this bit of them trying to rehab Harry's image now by saying that Harry really did not approve of what Meghan did, and he was really angered by it. This is just another attempt to rehab Harry's image and try to fix that disastrous narrative. I don't think this is helping. All right, let's move on now to Omid Scoobie. We know that he's the one who recently released their Christmas card, which was a joke, and we know that he's the one who wrote all those books. We found out that Meghan helped him with the first one. He then called Catherine and King Charles racists in the second one, swore up and down he didn't, but come to find out he did. That was absolutely done intentionally. He claims he doesn't work for them, but it's pretty obvious that he does. Because he can't do royal work in the UK anymore because nobody will trust anything he says or does, he has now moved to the United States, to Los Angeles. He is only a 2-hour drive away from Harry and Meghan. Go figure. This guy is nothing but a one-trick pony because he's now working on a TV project and a book. Guess what it's about? It's called Royal Spin, and it goes around a glamorous and feisty American publicist who leaves her high-powered job in Washington to work in the communications department of Buckingham Palace. Are you kidding me? So they're saying it's like, and I'm quoting, a plucky young woman who enters the palace and comes up against the men in gray who are stuck in Victoria times. But of course, in Scoobie's version, she wins over the hearts and minds of everyone she meets and triumphs over the baddies in the establishment. He apparently has secured himself a regular spot on Good Morning America. Gayle King. Wonder how that happened. And apparently is living in an apartment block that rents up to £8,000 a month. So if he's not careful, he's going to blow through his money. For those of you who don't know, Prince Harry has a friend named James Haskell. He is the former England rugby union player he was at Harry and Meghan's wedding, and he recently wrote a book called The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby, which he co-wrote with Mike Tyndall, and he said that Omid is an odd bloke. We all know that American royal fans are effing nuts, especially, are you ready, Scobilites. What they're saying in this article is that Americans still idolize Princess Diana, and the fact that Omid has close links to Harry is what's giving him credibility. So he's dining out on that. And apparently he also has people in Oprah Winfrey's circle on speed dial. You guys know that if you go on Omid Scoobie's Twitter account, 90% of his tweets are pro Harry Meghan, or he's reposted something about Harry and Meghan, or he's slamming the monarchy. This is his entire Twitter account, 90% of his Twitter account. If you don't believe me, you can go look at it for yourself. But the point is, he recently put out a statement, Omid Scoobie did. Omid put out a statement that said he doesn't know Meghan, he has no contact with her, he's not in touch with her, don't link my work to her, and I don't make statements on her behalf. If you guys remember, it wasn't that long ago that he gave some information about how the Queen's casket was going to be delivered to the UK, and come to find out he'd been fed a false story by Harry, who'd been fed a false story by William to see if he was leaking, and he was. Anyway, take a look at these tweets that he's put out that clearly show he's absolutely their mouthpiece. And in a final thing, I'm shocked that Omid posted something about a guy turning himself into a collie, spending $20,000, and how he's terrified. People in glass houses, baby. That's all I can say. He's morphing into Meghan Markle. And finally, another old friend of Harry's, captain of Polo England, his name is Tommy Severn. He played with William and Harry. He said that Harry's new Netflix show was, quote, very weird. And he also said Harry has been warned that he cannot return to England because if he does, he'll look like an idiot. He also said, and I completely agree with this, that Harry does not have a way back to the UK without the help of Prince William. That if Harry cut ties, if he comes back now, he looks really not good. But William might be able to help him out because they were close and William might be able to smooth the way for him. But quite frankly, after Harry told everybody that William only married Catherine not for love, but because she was good breeding stock, and the comments he's made about their children, yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't see that happening. All right, you guys, you know I want your comments. What do you think about all of that? I believe that Omid is in touch with them, but that's just my opinion. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Hit that thumbs up. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, which is currently paused, my Amazon wish list, and my physical address. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.